of the living God. Spirit of the living God, fall afresh on us, melt us, mold us, fill us, use us to your glory and to your honor. And we shall be careful to give your name the praises. In Jesus' name we ask. Amen. from the book of Joshua, chapter 1, verses 1 through 9. After the death of Moses, the servant of the Lord, it came to pass that the Lord spoke to Joshua, the son of Nun, Moses' assistant, saying, Moses, my servant, is dead. Now therefore arise and go over this Jordan, you and all this people, to the land which I have given them, the children of Israel. Every place that the sole of your foot tread upon I have given you, as I said to Moses, from the wilderness and this Lebanon, as far as the great river, the river Euphrates, all the land of the Hittites and the great sea, towards the going down of the sun, shall be your territory. No man shall be able to stand before you all the days of your life. As I was with Moses, so I will be with you. I will not leave you nor forsake you. Be strong, of good courage. For this people you shall divide an inheritance, the land which I swore to their fathers to give them. Only be strong and very courageous, that you may observe to do according all the law which Moses my servant commanded you. Do not turn from it to the right hand or to the left, that you may prosper wherever you go. This book of the law shall not depart from your mouth, but you shall meditate it day and night, that you may observe and do according to all that is written in it. For then you will make your way prosperous, and then you will have good success. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and of good courage. Do not be afraid, nor be dismayed, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. You may be seated. We'll speak from the subject today, God's courageous leader. Joshua is one of the featured characters in our message today. The book title, his name, suggests that he wrote some of it, if not all. It's Joshua 24:26. Joshua was born in Egypt during the period of Israel's slavery under King Pharaoh. Pharaoh made their working responsibilities so difficult. They prayed to God day and night for deliverance. God heard their prayers through their tears. He saw their suffering and pain. God devised an escape plan for Israel's freedom from Egypt. But he needed a man who was courageous, a man who was honest, a man who loved his people, a man who was bold, who could execute his plan and stand as a voice before Pharaoh. God found that man on the backside of the desert of Midian by the name of Moses. God said to Moses, after he got his attention with the burning bush, I have seen the oppression and suffering of my people. I've heard their cry, and I have heard their prayers. I have devised an escape plan for their freedom. I need you, Moses, to execute this plan and be my voice as you stand before Pharaoh. Moses said to God, Lord, there are two reasons why I cannot accept this assignment. Number one, I am a fugitive from Egypt. I am on Egypt hit list. I killed an Egyptian, and there's a bounty on my life. Number two, I have a speech impediment. I cannot speak plainly. I have difficulties in pronouncing certain words. I cannot express myself properly. God said to Moses, I have already pardoned you of your crime. There is no longer a bounty on your life. Your crime has been expunged from Egypt's legal record. Moses, I know your communication skills. I know your ability. I don't need you to tell me what you can't do. You have to remember, I made you. I put in you what you have in you. And on this day, I have empowered you, and I have qualified you, and I have chosen you as my leader to go and escort my people out of Egypt. Now, if you have some reservations about your ability to express yourself, Aaron is coming your way. Carry your brother Aaron with you, and Aaron you can tell him what you want him to say, but you must remember that you are my chosen leader. You are my spokesman. And I'm going to be speaking directly to you. You can say to Aaron what you want, but you are my chosen. I think I need to add a footnote here and just suggest that God deals with one man at a time. He doesn't need a lot of people trying to do what he wants done. He deals directly with one person. And I would suggest the reason you are where you are today, because God has been dealing with one man. And I know we have those persons who like to be in the know. They want you to know that they know God and God speaks to them, but God's not going to tell you anything that's going to interfere with what he had told his leader. After Moses got all his question answered, he accepted God's challenging assignment to go to Egypt, to lead God's people from Egypt to Canaan, the promised land. After crossing the Red Sea, the journey became long, tiresome, and difficult, primarily because of the unbelief, the grumbling and complaining of the people. At last, Israel reached the desert of Paran. That was the luncheon pad or the luncheon point for entering the promised land. Israel stood ready to enter the promised land, ready to experience the fulfillment of their hopes and dreams. But before they could enter, they needed to spy out the land and gather all the tactical information they could about the land and the people. Moses organized a delegation of spies, a representative from each tribe. Their mission was clear and thorough. They were to go see if the people were strong or weak, few or many, to see what the land was like, good or bad, to see if the towns were fortified or unwalled, to check the soil to see if it was fertile, poor, barren, or full of trees, to bring back a sample of the fruit of Canaan. After 40 days, exulting days, in the enemy's territory, the spies' mission had been a success. Not a single spy had been lost. And a complete surveillance of the promised land had been made. The people were anxiously waiting on the spies to hear their report. They were filled with excitement and expectation. They were sure they would soon begin their march into the promised land. But unknown to them, a crushing and horrible shock was on the way. 10 spies will give a negative report. 10 spies who will exaggerate and distort the truth about the promised land. 10 spies are gripped with fear, doubt, unbelief. Suggested they were to the people that they were not able to go over and possess the land of promise. 10 spies became a stumbling block to Israel's entrance into the promised land. And then these 10 spies and their families blamed God for not getting them into the promised land. It sounds just like some folk I know. I know they don't have no here. Once God did not bring them out of Egypt to the desert, he brought them out of Egypt to go to the promised land. But here they have decided that they could not go. The decision these 10 spies made was not God's decision. It was their cowardness and their own no-brain decision not going into the promised land. God had brought them out of Egypt, opened the Red Sea. He fed them while they were in the wilderness, brought them to the door of the promised land. They were afraid to go in because they saw the giants. And the 10 spies, spineless spies, said, we look like grasshoppers in our own sight, and so we were in their sight. But there were 2 other spies by the name of Joshua and Caleb. These 2 spies stood and addressed Moses and the congregation, refuting the 10 spies' report by saying, if we look like grasshoppers in our own sight, we were the same grasshoppers in Egypt. But you remember, it was God who led us from under the bondage of slavery and freedom. If we look like grasshoppers in our own sight, you must remember that we are the same grasshoppers who stood at the Red Sea, Pharaoh's army behind us and the waters in front of us. But this same God opened up the Red Sea, and let us cross on dry ground. If we look like grasshoppers in our own sight, you must remember it was this same God who gave us food to eat, water to drink, kept our clothes on our bodies and shoes on our feet. He was our doctor and nurse. He was our way maker, and he was our way provider in the desert. If we look like grasshoppers in our own sight, I recommend we put all of our faith, all of our trust in this same God who has been our help in ages past.